In the meantime, there's all this drama over TikTok, which if I didn't have teenage sons, I wouldn't have known what this thing was. But it is a huge sensation with better than 100 million Americans, to say nothing of the worldwide appeal, largely on videos and the like. Microsoft is interested in buying it. The CEO of that company had a phone call with the President of the United States, who all but cleared it. But what's interesting in this, besides just the Chinese rage that we're trying to steal, an iconic symbol of their social media success, is this notion the president has that the Treasury can share in the loot on all of this. I think I've got that right. Charlie Gasparino, who first broke this, and the rest of the world media tended to follow. Leeza Garber, attorney extraordinaire. Leeza, I ended with you as just a lawyer, if you can clarify some things. I didn't think that the aspect of the Treasury sharing in this, and the dough in this, was legal. But I could be wrong. That's why I wanted to check with the lawyer first. Is it?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Neil. And I'm not as hip as your 17-year-old sons. You won't find me on TikTok. But what I do know is that there really is no precedent for this kind of arrangement that the president is suggesting. Really, what the process is that the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States would basically run an investigation. And they've already begun that. And there have been other investigations into the national security concerns surrounding TikTok. But this process of this government agency, the biggest fee they would get would be their filing fee, and that's about $300,000. The only other fee we can think about would be the taxes, and Microsoft actually alluded in a public statement. They said, we're happy to give the proper amounts of money to the U.S. once this deal is done, and it seems like they're inferring that that would be taxes and not some sort of deal that would be a percentage on the actual amount paid.
All right, well, that's good to hear, because Charlie, my first reaction was, did Tony Soprano construct this? But now, let me get your sense on where things stand now, Charlie, with this whole thing.
From what I understand, the next couple of days, we're probably going to get a statement. I keep saying that. It's like that Shakespearean thing, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. We just keep waiting for the official word, whether it's a CFIUS ruling, as your guest just pointed out, that's the Council for Foreign Investment, whether they rule, whether Trump does a blanket order. There's a couple, from what I understand, 2 or 3 sort of ways he can go about this. Through either a total ban or some sort of middle ground, or a CFIUS ruling, which would be a divestiture of the U.S. portion of TikTok from the broader company, and then allowing Microsoft to come in and buy and prove to the U.S. government, CFIUS, which is an arm of the Treasury Department, that it's going to lock down the technology. So we're supposed to hear that in the next couple of days. Listen, this is not a done deal until you see the deal. I mean, there's a lot of questions here, whether Microsoft should buy the whole thing of TikTok, whether the U.S. portion is enough. I do know this, that there is a degree of political pressure being put on the White House, that donors are telling them, and this is fascinating. You know, if you want to annoy suburban voters more, block this deal. Prevent TikTok from being used, and watched your kids scream during the lockdowns and the pandemic. Neil, I'm kidding. It sounds funny, but I know that has been communicated to the Trump campaign and to the White House. I know that.
Oh, absolutely it has. Absolutely.
And it's going to have and it has an impact.
Yeah,
now,
if I can add to that. So Charlie has spoken to some of the really important pieces of this, and one of those is that technical component, right? What would it actually look like if an American company couldn't purchase TikTok and Trump went forward and attempted to ban it? And there are a couple ways that would go. But the prominent way that we think about is the Great Firewall of China, and that's really a typically un-American view that you could ban a consumer-facing app just completely and holistically at the network level. But there are other ways that this could be done, and there is some precedent for it, not too recent history. But basically, Trump could argue to put TikTok on an entity list, which means because of some sort of sanction, whether it's trade or espionage, that certain platforms are not allowed to carry the app. So that would mean basically telling Apple's App Store or Google that they can't have this app in their platform. So that method of deplatforming would be another way to go. So we'll have to wait and see, just as Charlie said, whether an American company can take hold of it or whether Trump attempts to actually ban it.
But there is a
Guys, I
political
want to thank you both very. I wish, Charlie, I do wish we had more time, my friend. Meanwhile, you alienated a lot of teenagers in this country. I'll try to clean up after that. But in the meantime, thank you guys very, very much.